New fears over Antifa violence and these alt-left activists that continue to disrupt our country. Here with reaction, filmmaker and author of the new book, The Big Lie, Dinesh D'Souza. Good evening, Dinesh. A lot to talk about tonight. What is the big lie?
Well, the big lie is the idea that fascism and Nazism phenomena of the right. Ever since Trump's election, the kind of underlying meta story, the big story about Trump and the Republicans has been that the right is fascist. And this is used not only as an insult, but as a pretext for the left to do all kinds of extreme tactics, from violence on the campuses to disrupting the inauguration, mainstream Democrats not even attending the inauguration, an attempt to sort of usurp and overthrow Trump's presidency. All of this is based on the idea that Trump is somehow a fascist. He's like Hitler in the 1930s. And what I show in the book is the opposite. Not only is Trump not a fascist, he doesn't have a fascist bone in his body, but fascism and Nazism have always been phenomena of the left. Hitler, remember, was a national socialist. And so what the left has done is they've tried to take the socialism out of national socialism and smear the right for something that it is intrinsically not.
Well, what's amazing about it is that the left and these Antifa, I used to call them that, ninja-clad individuals are claiming that they are defending the country and stopping the fascists from gaining ground, and they are admittedly committing violent acts, saying that not all speech is acceptable. I mean, how do they realign this whole thinking with the Constitution? And how does law enforcement and a lot of these cops stand down when they come out?
Well, the reason is that the Antifa guys pretend to be anti-fascists. They've even labeled themselves anti-fascists, and so they act like the fascists are on the other side, even though when you look at the Antifa guys, they dress like fascists. They look exactly like Mussolini's brown shirts from the 20s. They carry weapons, and they're more dangerous than the ragtag white supremacists. Charlottesville. I know there was a death in Charlottesville, but look, these Antifa guys are allied with people in Hollywood, with the mayor of Berkeley, with the deans on major campuses, with the Democratic Party. So these are people closer to power.
I got to push back a little bit here. I mean, there was a woman who was hit by a car, Heather Heyer. I mean, she was killed. That's as violent as violence can get. And that was not Antifa.
No, I agree with that completely, but what I'm saying is that ultimately the real danger in our culture doesn't just come from the fascism of the street, but from the fascism of institutions. And so, for example, when Google can fire a guy for writing a memo, when Hollywood bosses can drive people out of the industry because they're on the wrong side of the political aisle, when universities can destroy the career of academics because they don't toe the party line, what I'm saying is we have to fear these institutions far more because they have far more real power.
Should government funding be removed from those academic institutions that don't allow free speech, that don't allow conservatives to speak on their campuses?
That's one tactic. I think an even better one. Remember in the 1950s when the Democratic governor Orville Faubus tried to block black kids from going to school and exercising their basic rights, Eisenhower sent in the National Guard. Remember, the First Amendment is one of our most fundamental rights. I think that when campuses try to create this kind of violent atmosphere to prevent speakers, Trump should send in the National Guard to protect our free speech rights.
Very quickly, the good news is when Ben Shapiro was at Berkeley on Thursday, as violent as it got, at least there were 9 people arrested. Dinesh D'Souza, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
My pleasure.